America is not a racist country.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Eric Andre. He's a comedian, and he was recently racially profiled up at an airport in Atlanta. And on top of being racially profiled, the officers that did this to him also took his money. It was seized. So I'm going to go ahead and play this audio for you from Forbes.
Eric Andre sues police for racial profiling. Seizing cash at Atlanta airport. By Nick Sibilla. Even though he's not Martin Luther King, Eric Andre is now fighting to end a civil rights nightmare. After the comedian said he was racially profiled at Atlanta's airport, Andre filed a federal lawsuit earlier this month to shut down that police program. A joint effort between the Clayton County Police Department and District Attorney's Office, this airport interdiction unit has officers intercepting and interrogating travelers on the jet bridge right before they can board their flights. Not only are the stops profoundly coercive, they've been financially lucrative for law enforcement. By exploiting permissive civil forfeiture laws, Clayton County law enforcement seized more than $1 million in cash and money orders from August 2020 to April 2021. Nearly all of that money was taken from the innocent. Only 8% of passengers who had their cash confiscated were actually charged with a crime. And in Georgia, once property has been forfeited, police and prosecutors can keep up to 100% of the proceeds. A clear incentive to police for profit. Neither Georgia residents nor travelers are safer because of these unlawful, discriminatory stops, said Richard Dean, one of the attorneys representing Andre. What CCPD appears to have created is a cash grab scheme operated out of the busiest airport in the world. Back in April 2021, after a shoot for the Righteous Gemstones in Charleston, South Carolina, Andre was flying home to Los Angeles with a connecting flight in Atlanta. As he prepared to board in Atlanta, everything seemed normal at first. A Delta agent scanned his ticket and Andre headed down the jet bridge tunnel with the other business class passengers. Suddenly, two plainclothes Clayton County officers singled Andre out and blocked his path. The officers began badgering Andre with questions and asked if he was selling drugs, buying drugs, or on drugs. One of the officers then asked to search his luggage. Andre responded, "Do I have to say yes?" When the officer said no, Andre refused and got on the plane. Incredibly, Eric Andre wasn't the only black comedian singled out by police at the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Joining Andre's lawsuit is Clayton English, who was also intercepted and interrogated by police on a Delta jet bridge, despite doing nothing wrong. Both men described their experiences with police as degrading. The officers responsible were part of the Clayton County Narcotics Unit Airport Investigations Group, which was ostensibly created to combat drug trafficking. But since airport security has been dramatically bolstered since 9/11, searching passengers for drugs on the jet bridge is a senseless interdiction strategy, the lawsuit argued. According to open records requests, between August 2020 and April 2021, police stopped more than 400 travelers, over half of whom were black. Yet law enforcement confiscated a pitiful amount of narcotics from a mere 3 travelers. Just 10 grams of marijuana and mushrooms, 26 grams of suspected THC gummies, and 6 pills that lacked a valid prescription. All told, that's less than 1/10 of a pound, with a hit rate of well under 1%. Although the drug busts were a bust, combining jet bridge interdictions with civil forfeiture did provide a financial windfall. Generating revenue by shaking down anxious passengers, the lawsuit noted, demands relatively little investment of resources from the department and its partners, but at the same time, transfers the onus to the owner to reclaim the property. Unlike criminal cases, which require proof beyond a reasonable doubt and guarantee an attorney to those who can't afford one, civil forfeiture lacks those basic protections. Instead, in Georgia, prosecutors need only show that there is a preponderance of the evidence, i.e. more likely than not, that a property is connected to criminal activity. And since the cost of hiring an attorney can often cost more than the property itself, many owners are forced to walk away. Little wonder then that among the Atlanta airport seizures, owners only fought back for their seized cash in less than a third of cases. Unfortunately, Clayton County Police are hardly alone in viewing flyers as little more than ATMs. The Institute for Justice currently has multiple class action lawsuits against the TSA, DIA, and Customs and Border Protection for their routine confiscation of cash. According to an IJ report, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, which includes Customs and Border Protection and ICE, conducted over 30,000 cash seizures worth more than $2 billion at the nation's airports from 2000 to 2016. For 69% of those seizures, no arrests were made. To defend its tactics, Clayton County argued that its stops were both random and consensual encounters. "I didn't see any other black people boarding at the time," Andre said in a release. "It's hard to believe I was selected at random for questioning." Moreover, stopping travelers on an airplane's jet bridge is a uniquely coercive method, his lawsuit elaborated. Reasonable individuals interdicted by CCPD officers in jet bridges would not and do not believe they are free to decline the office's requests, or to ignore and navigate around the officer's absent affirmative permission, the complaint asserted. That is especially true when the stop occurs on a cramped, highly secure jet bridge, a setting that further pressures passengers to acquiesce to the office's wishes. "It definitely did not feel like a consensual encounter," Andre said at a press conference. "When two cops stop you, you don't feel like you have the right to leave, especially when they start interrogating you about drugs."
So, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't go over exactly how much money was taken, but he did have money taken from him. So, these cops aren't doing nothing but walking around and shaking down black people up at the airport. And only 8% of the time they found somebody that might have committed a crime. So then that means 92% of those black folks that you stopped never committed a crime and didn't have nothing in their backgrounds. They just came up with civil forfeiture just to take away from us. They are committing a theft and created a law that justifies the theft. But nevertheless, it's still a theft. So that's the only purpose in the cops being up at the airport is to shake people down. See, this is why you can't come to me and talk about no damn crime. Not now, not ever. I see more crime coming from this government than coming from the citizens. No, you can't come to Lisa talking about crime. You're full of crap. And as long as I see exonerations every single day, don't come to me talking about somebody being a criminal. The people that are putting innocent people behind bars and shaking people down at airports, they're criminals. Every last one of them. They're criminals. So, y'all, I'm glad this dude lawyered up. He had sense enough to fight back from being wrongfully stopped and having money taken away from him. No, that's not right. And it's a shame because in the article it says very few people fight back. It should not be that way. It should be the majority of the people just lawyer up and you fight back. If you got something wrongfully taken from you, you have the right to get it back. The civil forfeiture laws are just to help fill their pockets with property and money and cars and everything else, bank accounts that they can lift off of people. It is just a legalized theft law. That's all it is. And you can see they're all out here taking advantage of it on these police jobs. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.